We want to solve each of these by using the square root method. So this is another different method for solving something where you have a quadratic equal to 0. So this one could be solved by factoring. I could do the difference of squares, x plus 6, x minus 6, but it asks us to solve it by using the square root method. So square root method means that I want to add the 36 to both sides, and I want to isolate the square. Because it is a square root method, that means that we're going to take the square root of both sides. So I have the square root of x squared. Now remember, whenever you take the square root of both sides, or actually every time you take the even root of both sides, you're always going to get a plus or minus sign that's going to come out of that. So I need a plus or minus here because negative 6 squared is 36 and positive 6 squared is also 36. So when I do that, I get regular x that's equal to plus or minus 6. That would be your answer. That's the same as you would have gotten by factoring. So now I want to do the same thing for this one down below here. Now this is a good one to do with the square root method because I've got something squared here, and I can also take the square root of that one as well. Now the alternative to solving it by square root method is you would have to expand all that out, add the like terms, factor it together again, and then get your answers. If you have something written in this form, it's a lot easier to use the square root method because it's written this way. It's more convenient for us in this form. So again, the way that you do that is you want to isolate the term that has the x in it. So I'm going to leave the 3x minus 2. I want that on one side of the equation. I'm going to move the 4 over across the equal sign, and I get that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to square root both sides of the equation the same as I did this one over here. So I have the square root of 3x minus 2 squared there, and then I get plus or minus, and you have the square root of 4 on that side. Again, don't forget about the plus or minus. Now what will happen is the square and the square root, those are going to cancel, and you get 3x minus 2 is going to equal plus or minus 2. So because you get two different numbers, you want to actually set up two different equations. So you're going to do 3x minus 2 will equal 2, but then you also want to do 3x minus 2 equals negative 2. And the reason why, again, that we're doing that is because you've got this is equal to two different numbers, so that's why you have to do two different equations. So I'm going to solve both of these individually. I'm going to add 2 to both sides here, and I get 3x equals 4, or x is equal to 4/3. So there's my first answer. I'm going to do this one, add 2 to both sides also, and I get 3x is equal to 0. Now when I divide both sides by 3, you do get 0 as the answer. As long as 0 is not on the bottom of the fraction, then it's okay. If 0 is on the top, that's fine. So 0 divided by 3 is 0. So your two answers would be 4/3 and 0. And again, this is going to be a lot quicker and easier to do than trying to expand all of it out and factor it again and get the answers. You would have gotten the same result, but if you notice something is already written in the square root of form like that, if you can write two things on both sides that are both squared like that, then the square rooting method comes in handy.